So on screen here, you see the cloud learning environment setup. You should have booted these VMs in a few lessons ago, and you'll see that there are 5 of them. Now, I'm going to go through what each of them does and what our whole game plan is for this training class. So first up, over on the right-hand side, you see our PyDC. That's a domain controller. We're not going to talk too much about that, but really, whenever we need to interact with the domain controller, I'm going to say that we have to tell our IT department to do certain things, and we're going to pretend that they've performed it on the domain controller. So we're not going to talk too much about that, and we're never really going to connect to it. So you don't even need to open that one. Now the rest of them, let's go through what we've got. So we've got PyInt01 and PyInt02. These are going to be our interface machines, and we've got PySRV01 and PySRV02, and these are going to be our servers. So we've got some pre-installed software here, and just quickly going through what this is. So on our PyInt01 and 02, we've got these things called OPC servers already installed. In a production system, let's see what we've got here. We have something like a DCS maybe, a distributed control system. Now we need to read from this in some way using our different PySystem components. And generally we need to read from it when it's exposing its data using a certain standard. So this DCS is hooked up to all of our sensors, etc., and it's exposing its data to other systems using these things called OPC servers. So in our case here, we're assuming that we have redundant OPC servers, so 2 of them with exactly the same data. All of the sensors on our plant are exposed using this OPC standard. So I said the word OPC a lot. We're going to hear this a lot throughout the course. It's an acronym that used to stand for something but doesn't really anymore, but really you can think of it as a way that control systems expose data. So the PySystem can read from lots and lots of different data sources, but we're concentrating on OPC because it's by far the most common data source we read from. So that's OPC servers. We're going to talk about them a little more in a little bit. So on the right-hand side, you'll see PySRV02 has something pre-installed as well, which is a SQL server. So down here. So this is a Microsoft SQL server, and it's a prerequisite of PyAsset framework, which is what we're going to install on PySRV02. All right, so what's our game plan? First off, the very first thing we're going to install is the Py data archive. So over here, we're going to install a Py data archive. So this Py data archive will store all of the data coming out of all of the sensors on our plant. The second thing we're going to do is install PyAsset Framework Server on PySRV02. So PyAsset Framework Server, we'll install this and then hook it up to our SQL server. So this SQL server is going to be really the backend to the PyAF service. PyAsset Framework exposes the data in a hierarchical format to users when they connect, whereas PyData Archive stores all of the sensor data coming out. The next thing we're going to do is install an interface. So over here on PyInt01, we're going to install the Py interface for OPCDA, or the OPC interface for short. Then, after we install it, we're going to hook it up to our OPC server, and then hook it up to our data archive. So what this is going to do is every sensor on the DCS, or every sensor on the OPC server, has a tag associated with it. You can think of a tag like a data stream. I'm going to call it probably tags and points, and I'm going to use those terms interchangeably. These tags, every one, so say it's a temperature sensor on a tank, the OPC server is constantly going to have a reading for that, the interface is going to read that and then push the data through to the data archive. So every reading, 20 degrees, it's going to push that through all the way through to the data archive, and the data archive is going to save that data. So we're going to have a trend for the tag. And then it's going to update it 20 degrees. So after we sort all of this out, we're going to sort out user access to the data. So we've got our single tag here, and we've got a user over here. So this user, so say they want to access this tank temperature sensor, and they want the temperature reading, and they want to put it in a report. So they're using PyDataLink. So PyDataLink is an Excel plugin. They've put this Excel report, and they want the temperature sensor reading, the current value to be, I don't know, let's make it go there. So how does this work? They're going to make a connection to the data archive. They're going to say, what's the current value of our temperature sensor, our temperature tag? PyData archive is going to return to them 20 degrees, and then it's going to fill it in their report. So after we've set up user access, we're going to start setting up redundancy. So down on our PyInt02, we're going to set up another instance of PyOPC interface. We're going to hook that up to our OPC server, and then it's going to sit there and wait for the interface installed on PyInt01 to fail, and when it does, it's going to take over. So this is a pretty robust system we're going to set up. Throughout this class, I'm going to go into a lot more detail about how all these things work and the different options you have for configuration. So this is a little simplified. In real life, you might have firewalls in all these different places, but as we go through, we'll discuss all these different scenarios and circumstances, and then what you can do about it to get things working.